What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder has been going back and forth, making videos, tweeting things. Now, Andy Ruiz, in defense of himself, he's talking about how the pay scale goes up as you win bigger fights. Okay, that makes sense. And that is, how it's supposed to work. We know boxing is just not structured, and there's a lot of lies that be told and a lot of broken promises. Now, Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, is saying that, look, we don't have to keep going back and forth. Just sign a contract so I can knock you out. And that he's the holdup, and saying if it's not about the money, sign the contract. Then he had his nephew, or, a kid jumps on, and, that's the point when I just kind of cut out the video, because it's like, this is just circus stuff, man, because that's premeditated. That's okay. When I say that, after I say this, I want you to come over and say it. And it's like, all right, man, this is part of this boxing circus show I'm talking about. Look, now people are saying that Andy Ruiz is delusional and all this and this, and I don't care nothing about who you like, who you think is going to win. I don't care nothing about that. Let's look at the reality. Okay, every time when I tell you guys something is going to happen or something is in the works, that people are going to forget the whole purpose of a particular thing and start just eating up what's being said at that particular time. Okay, you know what people seem to forget? Again, and I have to reiterate this, okay? Andy Ruiz fought not one, but two worthless title eliminators. A title eliminator is to get you closer, okay, to a fight, because you are eliminating your opponents to get to the title. Deontay has no title. He fought one title eliminator against Robert Helenius. You know how long ago that was? So what title is he prepared to fight for right now? You understand what I mean? His talks haven't been about any championship fights. Of course, yeah, him and Malik Scott said they wanted to fight Usyk. They fought Fury already. They never fought Usyk. Okay, cool. But first, he wants to fight, Wilder wants to fight AJ in Africa. That's the fight everybody want to see. He's supposed to be fighting Anthony Joshua in December, right? Isn't that the word everybody else got? Yet, all of a sudden now, him and Andy Ruiz are supposed to fight, when that should have been the fight first off, because they both won. He won one title eliminator, and, Andy Ruiz won two. That fight with Chris Arreola, you know how long ago that was? That was a title eliminator. The fight with Ruiz, with Ortiz, that was a title eliminator. Yet, they're talking about, oh, Andy's pricing himself out. Look, the guy is a former world champion himself. Like I said, Wilder has no fucking belt either. Wilder's last two fights, look, he had a draw with Fury, lost to Fury, beat Robert Helenius. So if we're talking about star power and climbing the ladder, well, Robert Helenius was his last fight. Robert Helenius did nothing but beat three other journeyman C-class fighters like himself, and pretty much ended up in a title eliminator. Okay, so at the end of the day, I don't care about, like I said, who you want to win. I'm looking at the situation of where they are. Deontay Wilder's flip-flopping. Why? It was one time he said he wasn't going to fight Anthony Joshua. He said, ain't no way, no how. Don't wait for it. Don't look for it. It ain't happening. Then he turns around and says, it's not about if the fight happens, but when. That's when, remember, you got to have patience. Yeah, remember that. Then him and Shelly Finkel stood there. And we're not even going to talk that bogus 50 million bullshit, okay? But the 120 that was guaranteed by the zone, 20 million to fight, of all people, Dominic Brazil, 50 million to fight Anthony Joshua. 2 times, 50 million, second fight, 50 million. They claimed that they wasn't going to fight him because the zone wouldn't tell them how much money Anthony Joshua was making. And they know this fight is worth at least 300 or 400 million. That was his excuse, right? Is it Deontay Wilder, the same person that said, it ain't about the money, it's about legacy? So to say, if it's not about the money, to Andy Ruiz to fight him, or Andy Ruiz is saying, I'll fight him for 10 million. Yeah, I'll fight him for 10 million. So people are saying that Andy's priced himself out. All of y'all that's running your mouth never fought before. Probably never had a schoolyard fight, nothing. But y'all talking this shit about he should take it, he should take it. Put yourself in those shoes. You making it sound like this is, Jared Anderson. You understand what I mean? After a job, somebody who has not made $2 million in a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody who was probably getting 500,000 or something to that. They haven't broken into that $1 million market yet. And then they're asking for 20 million or whatever. No, this is not that. This is a former world champion, regardless to whether you like him or respect him or not. He's still world champion. Okay? It's the same way how when look, you notice how when Anthony Joshua talk about his title wins and stuff, like he don't, not to disrespect him, but he don't really harp on the Charles Martin win. Okay. Bermane Stiverne is no better than Charles Martin. They're like in the same category. And that's who Wilder got his title from. All right? People called Charles Martin a bum. They made fun of him. They laughed at him. But when that rumor came out that Martin was fighting, or the lie rather, because it turned out to never be true at all, against Wilder, all of a sudden Martin's a good fighter, man. How? What did he do to make y'all all of a sudden now he's a good fighter? People, we know this favoritism is nonsense, is bullshit. Well, at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this. Again, why call a fight a title eliminator, but it doesn't lead to a title shot? Yet guys get to pick and choose if they want the fight. No, a title eliminator should be, no, you have to fight this person. That's what it should be. And this is why I said the boxing needs structure. It needs rules. The rules are just like the laws, okay, of life. They're not meant to protect the citizen. They're meant to protect the lawmakers because they're the lawbreakers, okay? And basically, they scramble pieces around where somebody may benefit one way or another, but it's not really for you. It's not for me. It's for them. And pretty much, these sanctioning bodies, we need to get rid of all these fucking sanctioning bodies. Oh, but it's too much history. It's too... No, shut up. Because the fighters sit there, when they own the WBC, everybody know the WBC is the only belt. The WBC is the most prestigious. Okay, so this is what I say. Eliminate the WBA, the IBO, the IBF, the WBO, yeah. We don't need all these other belts, right? And then eliminate the WBC as well. And what you do, start a new legacy with respectable fighters and champions where there's no 4 or 5 belts. No, there's one belt in each division. When people say, yeah, but then you be taking away money from more fighters. Yep, that's the sad part. But see, that's the part that's also the problem. Because if you don't need all these belts to become undisputed, right? What do those belts mean? You're just lining people's pockets because you're paying a sanction fee to hold a belt that doesn't mean shit. They don't even acknowledge you as a champion. You're just holding a belt, okay, with the sanctioning body logo on it. Well, at the same time, right, the belts that you do need to become undisputed, look at what's happening now. Guys become undisputed and then they don't fight for long periods of time. Shit's going wrong. Now it's this whole, once you become undisputed, go to another weight class. There's nobody else to beat. But then you have fighters that's still in that division that never fought against the champion that are worthy opponents. So my point is, if you're going to sit here and, okay, I won my title eliminator. And look at in fairness, Andy had 2, Wilder had 1. At the same time, it's not mandatory. See, if they started saying it's mandatory that the winner of, which it should be, I don't see, it makes no sense. It's like working all week long. And then your employer says, well, just because you worked the whole week don't mean that I have to pay you. No, that's how it works. I work, I get paid. Y'all put that work in just to all of a sudden now, oh, Andy's overpricing. No, stop. Deontay Wilder himself knows everybody's trying to eat. Everybody needs to eat. And Deontay Wilder is the one always talking about fighters and mental health issues and how people don't give a damn. This is Wilder. He don't give a damn about the fighter. You know, we putting our lives on the line. We could lose our lives in there. So if you gave a fuck that much, you wouldn't sit here and tell Andy Ruiz he's overpriced himself. He got a mouth to feed just like you, and he's fucking fat, so he eat a lot more than you do. Just saying, real shit. You can't sit here talking. This is why I say something, dude, is weird. If you give a fuck so much about fighters' mental health issues and fighters' health and how y'all don't have a pension plan, y'all don't get no social security for this shit when y'all done nothing, right? Basically, right? Every fighter's in there putting their life on the line. Every fighter's in there, you know, risking their life to entertain, and people don't respect us, and you're not respecting Andy Ruiz in this situation. See, but fanboys don't understand the common sense of what I'm saying. If Ruiz won that fight against Andy, Ortiz, if Ortiz would have won that fight against Andy Ruiz, Wilder versus Ortiz 3 would have already happened a long time ago. That's who they wanted to win. You could see in his body language and even the way he was talking when he got in the ring, he didn't want Andy Ruiz to win. I don't care what he's saying about sign the contract. All you gotta do is sign that. Okay. Tyson Fury moved the goalpost every time somebody, you know, agreed to something he wanted to do, right? Kept doing it. Now, I don't know if this is the case with Wilder, but I will say this. You need to stop talking about fairness to boxers and acting like Andy Ruiz is some up-and-coming guy. You know, I don't give a shit if you knock him out in one round. I don't care if he knock you out in one round. I don't care what happens. The reality is, just like Dillian White went in and embarrassed himself against Fury, the fight still needed to happen. And to be able to say you fought these guys, you know, to be able to have them on your resume, these are all guys from your era. Just like Joseph Parker, regardless of what happens. These are fights that need to happen. So now we have another fighter that went from saying it's not about the money, it's about legacy, to now it's about, if he's saying to him, it's not about the money. If it's not about the money, sign the contract. Okay, then, well, he's letting you know. If it's a money situation, okay, then I understand. Forget it, because I'm not giving you any more money. Instead of saying Andy's overpriced himself, say it like it is. He's being lowballed. That's what this comes down to. So I don't even know what the price is that they're asking for, because, you know, Andy said he never asked for $20 million. That's the price that we heard. I've never heard Wilder say what Andy was asking for. But whatever that number is, think about it. If Andy didn't say he wanted 20 and he's saying no, he said out loud, okay, on his own video, I'll fight Wilder for $10 million. Okay, so whatever he was asking for, they're saying nope. They want the lion's share of the money, of course, and they wanted a champion. Yeah, Wilder's no champion. He's holding no belt. So even for people to, well, but he's the bigger star. Man, listen, stop it. Just look. You know, this is what I mean about people trying to sit up on that perch. When you hear fighters speak against something, but then do the same things that they're speaking against, but because you guys are fanboys, you don't want to admit the truth, then, you know, you guys all need to shut up and never say anything about anything. Just listen, observe, and understand that people just say a bunch of shit that means nothing. So the way it seems is like this fight is not going to happen. Okay, fights have to be made mandatory where either fighter don't have a choice. Either you fight or be stripped of your position. There's no reason that this fight shouldn't happen. This is two guys that won title eliminators. And this is exactly why I keep telling you guys, like, if you win a title eliminator and you end up fighting someone else and it's not a title eliminator and you lose, see, it's what I'm saying. It's all over the place. The sport is just a sloppy mess. And it's just so focused on money. We need to stop calling it boxing, just call it boxing entertainment. Because, in all honesty, I got some better names for it, actually. But at the same time, it's just like, it's all about, let's make as much money as we can, to the point where even if we make the sport look like a complete load of shit, as long as our pockets were lined up nice and fat, that's what matters. If we have nothing but casuals, that's what matters. The problem with casuals is they don't stick around in the long run. So something that may be a hot ticket right now at some point, nope. And it take far too long for these fights to actually happen amongst the best fighters. So people get bored, nothing's going on, they walk away. Oh, who's that? Oh, I don't know him. An example, I was talking about Inoue versus Fulton a couple of days ago. Nobody knew who the hell I was talking about. They were like, who? And he's like, nah, like I watch I fuck with boxing. I watch Jake Paul. I watched Logan Paul. I ain't seen him for a minute though. Logan. I watch KSI. Yo, KSI could be the champ for real, yo. He could be. Yeah, I want to see KSI and Crawford, yo. I ain't really see. Only time I seen Crawford was against that guy, Errol. Yeah, but I ain't know neither one of them. Like my boy was telling me about it. Like that's my uncle was telling me, and I was like, yo, all right. So I watched it. I was at his house. The shit was just on, and like he beat the dude. So I'm like, yo, I think KSI beat dude because like yo KSI, and I'm just like, So here we got guys comparing. Like I said, you have people don't know the difference between Canelo, Anthony Joshua, and Jake Paul in terms of what they are, skill for skill, and all. They don't understand it. Now you got people talking about KSI versus Terrence Crawford, and they think KSI will beat Terrence Crawford. This is where we are, and all these boxing personalities that it's not about dismissing the misfits, but at the same time it is, because it's like, look, man, that's their lane. More power to them. They do what they do, but do not confuse those guys with us. You understand what I'm saying? No, it's about entertainment. That's why when Sean Porter made that comment about he was making a comparison about a fight that happened, and he was saying no, and this was with two top fighters. They wasn't there for the fight. They're there for the entertainment. Fans want to be entertained, and I'm like, see, and you entertaining that bullshit instead of being an ambassador of real, true boxing and basically explaining the difference so you can educate your audience, because your audience is full of casuals too. You go along with it, and this is called the go along, get along gang. Let me be a part of that so I don't want to look like a hater. No. And if you can't separate yourself from them and separate boxing from this bullshit, then yeah, just call it all boxing bullshit entertainment. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, man, because it's, the funny thing is, man, people love to blame Floyd for the way boxing is and the way these fighters think. Floyd got nothing to do with them. Floyd did what Floyd did. These are grown-ass men. Stop acting like these are little kids walking around here. No, Floyd put the work in. He did what he did, and Floyd planned his exit strategy perfectly. Executed and did it exactly his way. You got guys right now, ain't but 8 fights in, talking about fighting world champions, and they haven't even fucking broken into the top 10 yet. So we're not going to sit here and blame Floyd or nobody else. Everybody's an individual. And not only that, oh, it took Floyd and Mayweather 3 years to fight. Okay. And it ended up being the biggest fight spectacle in the history of boxing in terms of the name, the star power, the money, like, you know what I'm saying? Like all that, the spectacle, the way everything went down, the live gate, all of that. But in terms of everybody else, you talking about now, Pacquiao was no longer undefeated. Well, he wasn't undefeated anyway. He had 3 losses already before Marquez knocked him out. But bottom line is, at that time, they were the 2 hottest fighters in the sport. Deontay Wilder is not one of the hottest fighters in the sport anymore. His heat came from his battles with Fury. He's then been knocked out, been stopped. Okay, all these excuses. Andy Ruiz has lost fights. He's won fights, but didn't look, too hot in the fights because, he spoke like he was way better going into the next fight. Like when he fought Chris Arreola, Chris Arreola, veteran experience. This is the thing. When you're no longer what you used to be, but the experience is there. Well, we already knew Andy Ruiz's weaknesses. We know he has no footwork. Slow feet. He doesn't know how to cut off a ring. We know that. He doesn't know how to work his way in. He's not good at transitioning. Once he gets in close, his hands are fast. He lets his hands go. Against taller fighters that have to reach down, they're easier to get caught by his shots than a shorter fighter. Okay? And it's just as simple as that, which is why if you stay long and keep a jab in his face, he has a problem. But then you look at a guy like Deontay that has no footwork, and people talking about, yo, the way Malik teaching him to throw that jab now? Yeah, against pads. Not against a live opponent. Okay? Show me that same shit against a live opponent, then we talking about something. Like Bruce Lee said, right? Boards don't hit back. So sitting there punching pads, and this what I'm saying about these casual motherfuckers. You guys are impressed by somebody hitting fucking pads. Yo, that jab was a power jab now. Yeah. Yeah. You got a guy hurt against the ropes or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? And he's wildly, yeah. Try that shit against a moving target. Notice, was he moving? No, his feet was still. Why? Because he's just hitting the target. That's he was stationary. This is the point of what I'm saying. Like, just they say shit, man. I don't need anybody to talk to me to tell me who's going to win. I don't care about what you say. It's not about what I say. This is why I'm not crazy about predictions. It's just, at the end of the day, you can say who you think is going to win. That's fine. It doesn't make a difference. The point is, the fight needs to happen. In boxing, these powers that be need to make sure that this fight happens. All this purse bid bullshit, or it's this, is that, well, if, no, they won two, they both won title eliminators. They need to eliminate each other. One moves on. So at the end of the fucking day, it again is another situation where, let's look at one. You hear me say, you don't think that Tyson Fury doesn't have a mandatory, that this isn't by design? This man has been holding this belt for like 2 years, and he has had no mandatories. I don't want to see him in Wilder again. No, I don't. I won't even tune in to watch that shit if it happens. The most I'll do is watch highlights, maybe, of it, and I probably won't even speak on it really. Okay, now that this one won or whatever, where do they go from here type of thing. I don't care to see them fight a fourth time. I don't. Now, if you're going to look at the possibility of Wilder fighting Usyk, right? Well, I don't want to see AJ versus Usyk again, because I don't see anything that AJ is going to do different that is going to be a different outcome, or even more competitive. Okay, because AJ is trying to perfect his boxing style, and he hasn't perfected it. Okay, I've seen changes. I've seen certain things he's doing good where people are not giving him credit for, the style he's doing. But that's his thing. He can't outbox Usyk. And AJ hasn't figured out how to transition yet to knowing when to be defensive or offensive minded in that pocket. And he's not comfortable with that yet. And those things, Usyk still has that veteran experience to where they've both been fighting for a while now. Okay, AJ's no novice guy. But to beat Usyk, I'm not talking about everybody else, but to beat Usyk, and I think a guy like Frank Sanchez will give AJ problems because he can fucking box and he knows how to control distance and range. Frank Sanchez at times in fights, you've seen him where in the later rounds he just kind of fades. Not like I'm tired, I'm exhausted. No, just he kind of just gets careless. We've seen that happen. That could come back and haunt you, not just against an AJ, but anybody. Heavyweights, one punch, it could be lights out. So that type of stuff. But so yeah, we had not seen AJ versus Tyson Fury, but Fury's out here in La La Land, bullshitting around, fucking around with Francis Ngannou. We haven't seen Wilder versus Usyk, so I would rather see Wilder versus Usyk than AJ versus Usyk 3, or I'd rather just see AJ versus Wilder. So now for Wilder versus excuse me, AJ in December, that can't be possible when AJ's when Wilder's sitting up here talking about fighting Andy Ruiz, which is why when this one guy from whatever his channel, Hatman Strikes Back or whatever, when he was saying this thing about AJ and them talking about a possible fight with someone else first, it's like, did you do your research or homework to find out if those talks between Wilder and between AJ are no longer going on? Or something came up different? Because from what we understand, this was the Saudis that was getting involved. And they would rather do it where it's AJ versus Wilder and Usyk versus Fury. Now, we, the people, were saying, even if Usyk and Fury don't do it, AJ versus Wilder is a headliner itself. That was us saying that. That wasn't the Saudis. Okay, so the thing is, my understanding is they wanted that package deal. Okay, so to just say, well, Eddie said this and Eddie promises that the fight is next. No, Eddie's saying, no, that's the fight for us next. That's what we want. He's not telling you that it was signed, sealed, delivered. Eddie Hearn never said, oh, the fight is definitely on. That's the fight. It has no. He's saying, yes, that's the fight. It has to happen. It's no reason for the fight not to happen. That's not saying, yes, the contract is signed. We signed, Wilder signed, the fight's on. If that was the case, you got common sense to know. If that was the case, then AJ versus Helenius never happens. And I remember Spencer Ferran, all these guys were saying, AJ's not going to fight against Helenius. That fight's not going to happen. And again, matter of fact, it was Dillian White initially. It's not going to happen because AJ doesn't want to blow that deal for December. And I'm saying, why do people use your common sense, people? If that fight was signed, that fight does not happen. Crawford versus Spence was talked about. It was being negotiated. I'm going across the street. I'll be right back. There was nothing signed. So when I'm hearing all these people say this stuff, and I'm like, why are y'all so short-sighted? So to say he's not going to fight Dillian White, that's because they believed that deal was actually on the table and that this is the fight. Okay, the Saudis wanted it. Eddie was pumped up for it. Look, this is what I'm saying. Where did we get the fight was signed? Nobody said the fight was signed. So I don't know what the hell this guy Hatman Strikes Back was talking about, because I'm like, and I'm pulling up all these videos, and I'm watching the same videos he's talking about. And I've never heard Eddie Hearn say the fight was signed already. No, it's a massive fight. It has to happen. It's absolutely next. Like, yeah, why not? That's what we want. That's what he's saying. Not, oh, yeah, the fight is happening. So I'm just like, I don't know if this guy got bored and just decided to start making videos to get attention. And he switched sides and started talking about they're ducking Wilder. Well, when Spencer Ferran and different guys, not Johnny Nelson, all these guys, were saying that they don't think the fight's going to happen because AJ don't want to blow that deal. And then for guys talking about the fight shouldn't happen because AJ's not ready, it's like, man, you motherfuckers are some pussies. Like, seriously. 1 minute, you all about boxing and legacy, but then all of a sudden now, yeah, I get it, y'all worried and concerned for AJ. Like, AJ's not a fucking baby, man. Listen, and AJ isn't co-signing that shit y'all saying. AJ wants to fight. He wants to fucking fight. You guys that keep saying he needs at least 2 or 3 fights, against who? Against who? His approach is not going to be different. What he adds to the game to be more effective is still, you guys are going to find something that you don't feel right about unless AJ goes in there and gets an early knockout. If he's boxing, you're going to go by the same thing of the longer the fight goes, he's giving his opponent more of a chance to score a knockout. The same chance his opponent has, so does he. Simple. So it's what I'm saying. All of this talk about he's not ready, people are just flip-flopping all over the place. They say one thing, then they say something else. So it's not, AJ's not trying to fight to our likeness. He's fighting to what he feels comfortable doing. Now, we can give our opinions on what we think, but really and truly, I've never seen such sissy shit going on in boxing, man. And that's one thing I can say. I remember people were saying Michael Nunn wasn't ready for this guy and that guy. This person would beat Michael Nunn. And then Michael Nunn goes in there and stomp a mud hole in these guys. And then it's like, well, we thought. Well, yeah, right, you thought. Which means if Michael Nunn never fought those guys, the general consensus would have been, nah, Nunn wouldn't have beat him. That Nunn didn't punch hard enough. Nunn, he had heart, but he wasn't, he didn't have a crowd-pleasing style. And he didn't know how to do this and this. Nunn goes in there and beat the shit out these guys. Now, when he lost to James Toney, he was clearly winning that fight. And James Toney's no pushover. James kept coming. It's like fucking Pac-Man. And basically, he never stopped, coming. So when Nunn started to get tired and he got careless on defense and got caught, that's what happened. But guess what? He was outboxing James Toney. It's not like Toney went in and dominated. So a rematch never happened. Little time went by. Toney got, Nunn got himself in some trouble and did jail time. So, that's how things went. But again, they were knocking his ability, but he got in there and shut everybody up. Anthony Joshua, no different. go and show and prove. Do you focus on you, your trainer, and what you're doing? Focus on your opponent. Study videos of not just your opponent, but your fights. So you can see what you need to work on, what you were doing wrong. Go in the gym and do it. That's all. But in terms of these fights not happening, I've never in my life seen an era of time where so many guys would just refuse to fight. And like I said, man, Jack Dempsey admitted that he avoided Sam Langford, that he didn't want to fight him. It's no different for these fucking fighters, man. You try to give respect to these guys and say, look, nobody's scared of nobody, blah, blah, blah. But like I always say, I don't know what's in these people's hearts. This is what people train for. My thing is people say it just because they don't like that particular fighter. So that's why I'm saying, no, stop with this. A person is scared because you don't like the guy when you don't know the details of why the fight hasn't happened. Well, it has to be his fault because I don't like him, basically, is what you're saying. Okay? And these guys are no different. They don't want to fight certain guys. They can talk all the shit they want, but, all this fucking premeditated video shit, this, I'm going to say this, you say that, and, if we don't get Wilder versus Ruiz, it's a disservice to boxing, and it's a disservice to themselves because you fought a title eliminator for no reason. And, the fans can say what they want. Wilder don't feel as confident in knocking out Ruiz as the fans do. Believe me. And, if it's not a money issue, like he said, right? Sign a contract. Well, if it's not a money issue for you, Wilder, right? You sign a contract too. Get a man what he's asking. Right? And if not too, don't come on another video crying, that man ain't gonna never know to let the bill fall. And crying about fighters' mental health issue and how y'all put your life on the line and nobody cares about y'all. Because what you're doing is the same shit that Tyson Fury is doing. It's not about the money. I don't care about the money. Now all he fight for is the money. Half a Billy Tyson Fury, right? Okay, all that bullshit. So you're doing the same thing. You're saying nobody cares about you guys and how y'all all put your life on the line and nobody care about y'all and breaking out into tears, but now you don't want to give a fighter what he deserves. I don't give a fuck about how you and your fan base feel, how the fanboys want to sit there and sing your praise and act like, oh, who is he to want more money? He's a former champion, just like Wilder's a former champion. So let's stop with all this bullshit, man. The truth is, Wilder doesn't want to fight Andy Ruiz. He don't want that possible banana peel fight. He's trying to wait, sit it out, and hope that he can get in there with Usyk. Otherwise, do you think that this man is willing to just sit alongside all that training, putting wear and tear on your body, for what? Just to avoid fights? Nah, come on, stop it. Stop it. And even if Wilder said, look, you call me or I call you, we're going to come to an agreement. We're going to make this fight happen. I want this fight. Do it live. So everybody can hear it. And there's no my word against your words. Make the fight happen. Why do you think these fighters don't come to the simple conclusions that these things that they can do will make everything happen the way it's supposed to? Because they don't want to say something and then people hold them accountable. Now it's all behind the scenes, my word against your word. Therefore, your fans going to rock with you. His fans going to rock with him. That childish bullshit. And then at the end of the day, the truth doesn't matter to anyone. You're just going by what you hear. There's no reason why this fight should not happen. Plain and simple. So let's not sit here and play the whole, Andy Ruiz is being delusional. He can't beat Wilder because, he's overpricing himself. He don't really want the fight. You guys sound as crazy as cat shit. You sound stupid. He don't want the fight, but he's the one calling out Wilder. He's just clout chasing. Okay. Well, here's the deal. Let's see if Wilder fights someone else. Like, do you think Robert Helenius would beat Andy Ruiz? You think Helenius is better than Ruiz? So let's see if he fights someone else worthy. Or does he go fight some meatball just to stay busy, to stay active? Because at the end of the day, if Wilder fight Frank Sanchez, you don't want to fight Andy Ruiz, right? Fight Frank Sanchez. Yeah, fight Jared Anderson. Fight one. You see, this is what people are understanding. I would say go fight Joseph Parker, but and that's a guy from your era, but Joe isn't looking so good. Joe Joyce has his hands full with Zilly Zane. But at least fight a Joseph Parker. At least fight a Joseph Parker. None of these guys look the same, including Wilder. None of them look the same. Go fight a Joseph Parker. Robert Helenius. At the end of the day, and people saying, but AJ fought. Yeah, Helenius was a last-minute replacement for Dillian White, failing his drug test. But regardless, at the end of the day, he wasn't first choice. He was handpicked to fight Wilder in the title eliminator. So let's not sit here and bash Helenius, right? For all of you that was basically big up him and calling him a worthy opponent when he was putting that in that title eliminator match with, that worthless title eliminator match with Wilder. These title eliminator matches are worthless. And you so-called boxing fans, this is why you see you all the casuals. This is why you guys accept the bullshit. Because you sit back and applaud the fighter that you want to win, but you don't look at the reality. Like when you hear me say, I want to see AJ beat all these heavyweights, but you hear me say, I don't want to see him fight Usyk a third time because there's no improvement in him that's enough that he's going to beat Usyk. His best chance for what he's doing is that he catch Usyk with the shot he need to catch it with and get Usyk out of there. Because otherwise, the style that he, like him to be a boxer, that boxing style instead of a boxer puncher, like what he naturally is, until he feels comfortable, he's not, because what he's trying to do is take less punishment. He's trying to be in a position where he's not on that center line and getting hit, which is great. But at the same time, he's being cautious to the point where he's not letting his hands go with that vengeance in his punch, okay? He's not swinging with bad intentions. He's throwing his shots to box, get hit and not be hit. I get it. But what he's doing, he's not letting his power go. That cautious style that he has, okay? It's working because he's winning, okay? And people don't like it. But to beat Usyk, he's going to have to be different. What he's doing, he's not going to beat Usyk with that style. Because Usyk will beat him to the punch. Because Usyk is more confident. And Usyk is not afraid to get close when he needs to. But anytime AJ catches him with anything solid, Usyk starts running. Yeah. He's like, okay, let me move. I'm not going to let him get any momentum and get his courage up. And basically, it's just one of those things where he can't match Usyk skill for skill. So that style he's using is not going to work against Usyk. And let me reiterate, like I said, I don't think that style he's using works against Frank Sanchez either. Okay? I don't think Wilder can beat Frank Sanchez. And again, for him to beat him, he has to knock him out. He's not going to outbox Frank Sanchez. No way. He has to knock him out. Yeah, so fight a Frank Sanchez. Y'all guys talking about legacy. Okay, no. Notice you don't hear them talking about legacy anymore. Now it's all about the money. So let's stop blaming Andy Ruiz saying he's overpricing himself when here's a guy that is not even a fucking champion anymore. Neither one of them are champions. They're both former champions. Okay, and at least for Ruiz, you can say Ruiz didn't get knocked the fuck out. And AJ can fucking crack. Okay? Fury was supposed to be pillow-fisted, and he knocked Wilder out. One punch. So I'm not on the hype train. I don't believe all this shit people are saying about Wilder. I see Wilder as, he got the right hand. Even his little nephew said, oh, I know, it's the right hand, right? And that's the last thing I heard. And I'm like, all right, let me click this shit off. This is some petty shit. This is what I'm telling you guys, man. All this fanboy shit is nothing but drama soap opera shit. And it's like amazing. Like, see, I do these videos, but outside these videos, when I'm talking boxing, I'm talking boxing. But the conversations are not the same. I'm not sitting up here like some fucking diva, stressing myself out to worry about what some grown-ass men are doing. That's not what I do. This is just a shame and some sad shit, though, that we've come to this point. And I told you guys, this is what's going to happen. Every big major fight is going to be very difficult to get. And if you got 20 major fights that everybody want to see, you might get 3 or 4. That's just the way it's going. And after looking at this Alicia Baumgartner situation, I haven't heard anything, more than likely, that she's guilty. She is going to be stripped if that's the case, and basically banned. And for that to happen, well, how do they push the next, female star in boxing? Or do they try to go with someone that's known already? What happens? I don't know. I don't know. And all the titles are back up for grabs again. You know, I'm just saying. I haven't heard anything from her or Vada. But when it takes this long, more than likely, usually when it takes this long, the fighter's found guilty. So, you know, say it like you want to say it, but boxing is just corrupt. And I don't see anybody trying to clean this shit up. So, I just wanted to get all that shit out, man. Because, you know, with Andy Ruiz and Wilder, there's really not much going on. Just, there's nothing going on. It's just talk. But it ties into everything I said. It's just no structure. There's no real rules. Nothing that the fighters are actually being, doing. The fighters, y'all do your part. And wasn't Wilder the one that said, the promoter, and all them, they work for you. You the boss. At the end of the day, you got the final say so. So Wilder, it's not all on Ruiz. It's on you too. Get that man what he want. Or save all that crying and breaking down in tears, talking about how nobody care about the fighters. We put our life on the line. You ain't the only one. Andy Ruiz is one of them. Stop acting like Tyson Fury, because that's what Fury's doing. It's all about the money. I want everything. I want the crumbs too. Only crumbs you can get on the table are the ones I can't see. They fell off on the floor somewhere. But I'm looking for those too. That's what he's doing. You're doing the same shit, man. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.